Most of the workers are Negroes who live on the plantation.
Who are you? You don't know. Don't tell me Negro, that's nothing. What were you before the white man named you a Negro? And where were you? And what did you have? What was yours? What language did you speak then? What was your name? It couldn't have been Smith or Jones or Bunch or Powell. That wasn't your name. They don't have those kind of names where you and I came from. No, what was your name? And why don't you now know what your name was then? Where did it go? Where did you lose it? Who took it? And how did he take it? What tongue did you speak? How did the man take your tongue? Where is your history? How did the man wipe out your history? What did the man do to make you as dumb as you are right now?
We've got some difficulties.
Thank you so much for the safe space, and I'm going to now trust you on that.
Okay.
My question is about race, and it's about labeling. We like to label. And when I meet someone who is of African descent, African American, I will refer to them as African American. But if it's a friend I've known for a while, I will call him and I will refer to him as black. So am I overly sensitive or am I appropriate?
African American. We're not from Africa. We're not from Africa. Africa is not our home. Let me let that hang in the atmosphere for a while. I said at this gathering of the masters, Africa is not your home.
I'm an American. I'm not an African American. I'm an American.
I mean, you're going to get a lot of flack for saying you're not African American. You know that, right?
Good evening, Morgan. Is this political correctness gone too far?
Yeah. I mean, we have a tendency to do that anyway. I mean, if you get politically correct, stuff happens that you don't want to happen. I all of a sudden became an African. Political correctness, African American. I'm not African. I'm not African. I'm not African.
We are black. And what does that mean? Well, I use the word black, and I use that too loosely because I don't like the word.
What's a good word? The shadow.
No, I am. You call me Negro, you call me nigger, you call me colored boy, you call me black, you call me African. I'm not an African.
My word to all black Americans, one thing I would like to say, let's not be deceived. Look at the record. Look at the promises that have been made over the past from the Democratic Party.
On this day, it is also the bicentennial of Charles Darwin's birth. It's worth a moment to pause and renew that commitment to science and innovation and discovery that Lincoln understood so well.
So let's jump right into the next question. And it's so if we shouldn't call ourselves African Americans or black, then what should we call ourselves? And that is a very good question. All right, now if you take a look at my previous documentaries, I explained or shared rather detailed information as to the reason why you should not call yourself nor associate yourself with those dangerous terms. You are indigenous.
my brethren, be strong in the Most High, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand and withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, take the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High Yah.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1,
0. Shabbat Shalom to the Set Apart family of the Most High Yah. Welcome to another Sword of the Spirit audio broadcast teaching. We are your hosts, the servants of Yah. Oh, sing to Yah a new song. Sing to Yah all the earth. Sing to Yah, bless his name. Bear news of his salvation day by day. Tell of his high esteem among the nations, his wonders among all people. For Yah is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the people are idols. For Yah made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Give to Yah, O families of the people. Give to Yah high esteem and might. For you, Yah, are exalted above all the earth. You are lifted on high, far above all almighty ones. Be glad in Yah, O righteous ones. Give thanks to the memory of his set apartness. So we want to thank you. All praises be to our Abba Yah for life, health, and strength, for the ability to once again come into his presence on his set apart day. We greet you in the name of our Master, Yeshua HaMashiach. Welcome to our 152nd, I can't believe I'm saying that, 152nd audio broadcast teaching. Going to bring in my co-host, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, sis. How are you?
Doing great. We've got our heat wave.
Yes.
Going on today, like 100-degree weather, so it may feel hotter than that. How's everything going on your end?
Other than the heat wave, my internet is out, so so I had to go another route with getting in on the broadcast today. So praise be to Yah. I'm still here, and I just give praise and honor to him, allowing me to see another set apart day. I love the intro as well as the prayer that you just spoke in Psalm. So I really getting excited for today's lesson.
Oh yeah, that was really thought provoking. For our people. The intro. Just asking that question. Who told you? That you were from Africa. And so. With that being said, we're going to get right into today's 152nd audio broadcast teaching. Just before I do that, just wanted to make a quick announcement because on next Sabbath, we will not be having an audio broadcast teaching because I will be on vacation. And so we will resume. Next Sabbath, we will debut, however, our kids' teaching, the children of Yah. So if you want to listen in on next Sabbath to our children's teaching, I believe it will be on the fourth commandment. It will be at that time at 2 o'clock, and we will be playing that. And so do you have anything that you want to add?
No, sis. Just excited to hear the next teaching for our children. It snuck up on us real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
it did.
I have nothing else to add.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and just get into today's teaching, and so let's get going. Our 150-second audio broadcast teaching is entitled, Who Are You? The Purpose of a Chosen People. And so with that being said, as you heard in the beginning of the audio broadcast teaching, some of the questions that were asked, we heard some of the confusion as well amongst our people. And so today's title is called, Who Are You? The Purpose of a Chosen People. Who are you? And today's teaching is strictly addressed, or shall I say I'm addressing the so-called African Americans, because we seem to be the only people on the face of the planet that can't answer these questions. Some of those questions being is, what is an African American? Who is an African American? Who were the so-called slaves before they arrived in the Americas and were given the name African American? What was their culture? What was their true heritage? And so I, like many of you, I'm sure you ever wondered why, why we're such an oppressed people? Why are we so hated as a nation of people? These are just some of the questions that keep reoccurring and haunting and confusing a nation of people who have been searching for their true identity since our ancestors pretty much arrived here on those transatlantic slave ships. And so since their arrival here, there's been name calling, name confusion, as you were listening again to the clip. That was Raven Simone, and she was like, well, I'm not African American, I'm American because this is where, she was born, okay? But again, the names have been relentless. They've been continuous from coons to color, from color to Negroes, to blacks, and now African Americans. And so this is, how can a nation of people and their identity change from, every 5 to 10 years, you're something else? It's like, aren't you who you are? Like, whoever you were born and whatever your nationality was, that's who you were from the beginning. So how can that change? That's been a question that I and many others have been attempting to have answer, is how is it that an identity of a people can change every few years, and why is it that we are the only nation of people on the earth whose identity seems to change, and every time it changes, it's never coming from us. It's coming from other people. And so again, since our ancestors have arrived here, the name calling and the name confusion has been relentless, from coons to color, from color to Negro, from Negroes to black, and now we're African Americans. And so, unfortunately, so-called history, if that's what you want to call it, history has been glossed over, it's been covered up, it's been rewritten, all in an attempt to destroy much of what has transpired prior to slavery, okay? And so what if those people who call themselves African Americans, what if those people knew, what if they actually knew that they had a rich heritage and an identity that didn't include slavery? What if this specific nation of people that we're addressing today, what if these people knew that there was a book that not only revealed their identity and their history, but also revealed their chosen purpose in the earth, a book that also revealed the remedy for their current condition, and a book that also revealed their future inheritance? Would you, if you're an African American, if you knew that there was a book out there that could reveal Your Chosen Purpose in the Earth, a book that can reveal the remedy for the current condition of the so-called African American, as well as reveal your future inheritance. Would you be willing to read it, to listen to it, to seek it out, to check it out, to search and see if there's any truth to it, besides what they've been told? Because we have no problem as a nation of people of checking out or believing or attaching and supporting things that we ourselves don't even have any idea where it came from. Someone just told us that, okay, and we just believed it. We don't question it. And then we are quick to defend something that we know nothing about because somebody told us, okay? So if you knew there was a book out there that could reveal your true purpose in the earth, that could reveal the remedy for your current condition as well as revealing your future inheritance, would you check it out? Sadly, when confronted with this overwhelming truth, many of our people will suffer from some form of cognitive dissonance as a result of comparing what they've been told all of their life versus what is currently being revealed to them today. And so there's a struggle that's there. And we all know this, those of us who try to share any type of truth with our loved ones. You know, there's some form of cognitive dissonance that goes there. They're going to be in some kind of denial. Okay? And so today's message is strictly to the so-called African Americans and the so-called African Americans alone. Do you know who you are? I'm talking to the so-called African Americans. Do you know who you are? Because you were more than slaves, and you have a rich history, and you have an inheritance that goes beyond what you could ever hope or imagine. And so today's teaching, we're going to reveal the true identity and purpose of the so-called African American, but I'm going to come from a different angle because we've done these before, Prina, we've done these teachings, and I'm not getting ready to go all back into all of the curses, and, you know, we've done this before. So I want to kind of come from a different angle today than what I have normally come from in the past. And so before we get into today's 150-second audio broadcast teaching, I want to give a quick recap of last week's teaching, which was entitled, Beware the Covenant Breakers, Show Regard to No One at the Expense of Your Soul. This was a very, this was a warning. Last week's teaching was a warning to the sheep of Yeshua. It was also a message of repentance to those who are covenant breakers. We delivered a very important message to those who, like I said last week, who are following but they're not testing, who are trusting but not discerning, believing yet believing a lie, and those, more importantly, those who are calling themselves preaching and teaching but they're not actually practicing what they preach. And so if you missed last week's 151st audio broadcast teaching, Beware of Covenant Breakers, Show No Regard to No One at the Expense of Your Soul, please check it out. And so we're going to get right into today's 152nd audio broadcast teaching. Before we get into the teaching, I have a quick audio clip that I want us to listen to, and then we'll come right back and get started with that.
Yeah. Growing up, there was a white kid who told me that he didn't want to play with me because my skin was dirty. And I came home and I told my mom, Mom, wash my skin so I could play with all the other kids.
I can tell you how many times I've been asked, deliver this, wheel this around, that I'm a delivery person. I am, the patient transfer person. I'm not a medical student who's there to sort of care for patients.
We've been put inside of this box that we can only be ignorant, that we can only come from single-parent homes, that we can only participate in games.
The truth is that being black in America is like walking through the store and people are scared of you or being stopped by law enforcement for no real good reason.
when we have dreadlocks or braids.
If a black guy has a hoodie on,
they see thug no matter what. So
we have a 14-year-old, and we've had to have some really difficult conversations with him.
I think it was the first time I got my driver's license, right? You're taught, your mom will sit you down and tell you, look,
if a police officer stops you, this is what you're supposed to say.
Don't reach into your glove compartment to try and get your license or your registration because, you know, if they think you have a weapon, you know, you can get shot.
Because at the end of the day, I really don't care. I just want you to come home to me.
Couldn't we at least let Black Jesus hang alongside?
Forget it. The only Jesus I know is him, and the one thing he don't need is a partner.
Mama, how do we know Jesus wasn't black? He could have been from the lost tribe of Israel. They were supposed to be black.
I bet they were. If ever people were lost, we're it.
Now, just cause y'all both of you. This picture has been in my family for as long as I can remember. When I was a baby, I don't know what I saw first. My mama, my papa, or this Jesus. Now, he's the one I know and love, so let's close the subject.
Jesus was black, the Bible would have said so.
But it does say so.
What are you talking about?
I read about it. It's in Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. I read about it in Muhammad's speech. It says, his hair is like wool, and his eyes are like flame of fire.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It sure do say that, don't it?
And see, Mama, look at that hair, like wool, ain't it? And look at them eyes, red like fire.
Yeah, they sure is. Junior, how come you decided to paint this?
I don't know. All of a sudden, I just had divine thoughts on my mind.
And for JJ, that's a first.
What, having divine thoughts?
No, having a mind.
I guess I ought to be grateful for JJ having Jesus on his mind in any color.
Then we can hang it on the wall, Mama?
Well, now,
please, Mama.
All right. But just for Black History Week. After that...
Okay. Yes, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Good Times episode, that particular episode. I remember watching it as a little girl, and I, just like Florida Evans, the mom in this sitcom, was, you know, pretty much like she was in denial, that and could not even fathom that someone. There is even no word to describe. I'm just saying beyond importance, but just to think that the Messiah is, you know, is someone that looks like me, that can identify with me. He definitely can't be a black man. And so I just kind of want to just start. I heard recently of a story from a young woman who stated that when she was born, when her mother was pregnant with her, the doctors misdiagnosed the sex. The doctors told her mother and father that they were having a boy instead of a girl. And they were really excited, especially the dad, because he had already had 2 or 3 girls. So, you know, the news that he was finally having a son, he was really excited. And so they had prepared the entire time for having a boy, from, you know, buying all the clothes, you know, even the shower, you know, they had already revealed the sex. So everyone who's bringing gifts and everything is like, okay, because we know it's a boy. And lo and behold, when mother goes in, and they didn't know all the way up until the time that the baby was born that they made a mistake, okay? And so she talked about the disappointment, not the fact that her dad didn't love her, but just the disappointment her father had, and could only imagine the entire time you're thinking, okay, I finally got my boy, and then out comes a baby girl. And I've heard several stories where there were families, and particularly even in my own family, where they had girls. For example, my aunt had girls, and they kept getting pregnant year after year. Every 2 to 3 years, they kept getting pregnant until they finally had that boy. And I think this was maybe like after their 4th or 5th child, having 5 girls. And so finally, okay, I'm going to, stop because I finally got my boy. But that didn't happen. After the 5th or 6th girl, they realized that they could no longer afford or financially sustain another child. And so we often hear stories where people will have a whole basketball team trying to have a boy or trying to have a girl. And then, my aunt, after they could no longer financially afford or sustain another child, they stop. You finally give up on the hope. I've heard of this over and over. Now, my aunt, eventually they did, but I've heard of stories where people had to stop because they no longer could afford another child. They stopped. They gave up on the hope of finally having that boy. They had to mentally prepare their hearts to be content with the 5 or 6 girls or how many ever girls that they had. They had to give up and be prepared to be content because, again, they can no longer afford it. And this is not to say that they wouldn't love their 5 or 6 girls or they would not love their 5 or 6 boys. But in the back of their mind, that husband, just as the story of the young woman I was telling you about that I heard the other day, she was telling her story, somewhere in the back of their minds, that husband or that wife had to be thinking, okay, I love my girls or I love my boys, but, I love my girls, but I still want my son, Or maybe they may be feeling like deep down in their hearts that they're not fulfilled because they didn't have that son or they didn't have that daughter, or because finances played a part in it, they had to finally give up on the hope of having that son. And so oftentimes many are left with a feeling of emptiness in their heart. And as a man, a feeling of, I'll never have a seed, to carry on my name in this earth, or I'll never have a stamp on this earth that I live or that I existed and I was here. For a man, that is very important, to leave a legacy, to have a son to carry on their name so that when they pass, they're still here, And so I'll give you another example. Let's say your dream was to become a news reporter or an artist, but your parents wanted you to become something or to become someone that the world considers, quote unquote, more distinguished or more prominent, like a doctor or a lawyer or engineer or even a professional basketball player. But the thing is, you hate math. You hate science. And quite frankly, although you might enjoy watching sports, although you may be tall and you may be pretty good at playing basketball, but you're not all that interested in playing professional basketball. And although being a doctor and being a lawyer and being an engineer and definitely playing professional basketball, although all of these very prominent or what people consider to be prominent professions, although they make good money, you know deep down in your heart that those careers would never fulfill you. But to please your family and to please those around you and to please society and the world's expectation of who they believe you should be and what they believe that you should be doing with your life, and more importantly, what they believe or who they believe you are and what your purpose is in this life. Because you're trying to fulfill the world's expectation of who you are and who you should be, you go through life living a lie or living a life that is not advantageous to you. You go through life living the world's purpose of who you are and who you were destined and who you were purposed to be. And you may even be happy for a time, but never truly being fulfilled and never truly experiencing true joy, okay? And what's sadder is that the majority of us have never experienced true joy. This is not to say that many of us cannot go on in life and be happy, but the majority of us have never been truly fulfilled, because there's a difference, and I said this on another teaching, there's a difference between happiness and joy. There's a difference. Happiness is temporary. Joy is everlasting. Joy is being content. Okay? And so, unfortunately, though, what I'm getting ready to say is this. Listen, all too often, the truth for many of us right now, and let me say, I'm talking to a specific nation of people. I'm talking to a chosen nation of people. But I'm starting it off with a couple examples that kind of lead you into where I am going. For most of us, okay, the so-called African Americans, for most of us, since our ancestors were brought to this land of captivity via the transatlantic slave trade, ever since, even before our existence in the womb, we have been living in a compromised state of being. And as unfortunate as it is, we are the only nation of people who have this confusion. We are the only ones. We're the only nation of people on this earth who have been living a lie. We've been living up to the world's expectations of who we are and who we should be. They told us that we were Christians. They told us that we spoke English. They gave us their gods in the image of what our power Yah looked like. They gave us our slave mentality and told us what we should aspire to be in life. They taught us how to hate ourselves and how to hate the image of who Yah created us to be in this earth. They taught us how to hate our hair and how to hate our skin and how to hate our rich culture. And so we've been searching for everything. We've been searching for everything but the truth, attaching ourselves to every false lie. And you can find us in every religion. Every religion. Continuously seeking, but never finding, increasing in knowledge, yet still having no understanding. They even taught us how to hate one another and how to teach and pass on that hatred of ourselves to our children. I hear mothers saying it all the time. Oh, I need to put a perm in your hair. Oh, you got nappy hair. Oh, your child is cute to be dark. These are the things that, like I said, they taught us how to hate ourselves and how to pass and teach, how to teach and pass that hatred on to our children, that we might continue this hatred of ourselves from generation to generation to generation. And through the false religion of Christianity and the whitewashed images of their gods and idol Caesar Borgia, whom they call the Messiah, and the Roman Catholic horse doctrine, through Christianity and through this Roman Catholic horse doctrine, they even taught us how to hate our God Yah. They taught us how to hate Yah and who he purposed for us to be in this earth from the beginning. So this rabbit hole, this stench, this lie goes deeper than we could ever imagine. We're constantly peeling back layers of falsehood day by day. No matter how long you've been, I've been in this truth for 14 years, still pulling back the layers. Haven't even scratched the surface. We can't even imagine in our wildest of dreams how deep this lie goes. But sadly, this is not a dream. This lie that our nation of people have been living is our reality. And it has been our reality for centuries. And unfortunately, it didn't take long before what was done to us and through our own insecurities, it didn't take long before it began to manipulate our mindset and the truth of who we are. And unlike Hollywood, I like to call it Hollyweird, unlike Hollywood and its depiction of the quote-unquote American dream that doesn't, or shall I say, the American dream that was never meant to fit us, here we are today. We're just like a fish out of water, wondering, searching, hoping one day that we would be esteemed in the eyes of our oppressors, that we would be esteemed in the eyes of those who took us captive, longing and praying that our oppressors would accept us. Oh, Master, please accept us. We want to be treated equally. We want to be just like you. We long, and it's a sad thing, but it's the truth. Our people long to be treated like we matter, like we exist. We just want to be treated like we exist. We long for this acceptance, to be like them, to be equal. But the grim reality is, as a nation of people, we have been living each and every day with an overwhelming sense of discontentment and disparity. We've been told to believe in the American dream, and we were told that if we just did certain things, then we would achieve, or we would be successful at achieving that American dream. Go to school. That's what they tell you. Go to school. Graduate from college. Then get a job. Not have your own business like our forefathers. Not have your own, but go to school, get a student loan that we're going to give you for free, so that you would never make enough money to pay it back. You can be in debt. Then when you graduate from college, you get that low-paying job. Get married, buy a car, get that house with the white picket fence, and all is well in life, right? That's what they told us. And while most of us have some, if not many, or all of these things that I just mentioned, there is still a sense of unfulfillment in our people, unlike all other nations of people. There is still an overwhelming source of discontentment in the form of a question that needs to be answered. And that question is in the form of 3 words. Who are you? Who are you? Now, for most of us, if you ask our people this question, they're going to answer this question with the role that they feel they play in their lives or the lives of those around them. Or they'll answer with some type of title like, well, I'm a mother, or I'm a father, I'm a wife, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a director, I'm a manager of student support services, I'm this. We define ourselves with the fulfillment and the entitlement that we think that these titles should give us or will give us. But we can never truly answer the question of who are you? Because quite frankly, our people just don't know. And so as a nation of people, we have never been able to capture the true essence of who we are because, again, we simply just do not know. And since our ancestors arrived in this country or in the nations where we were scattered, we have been systematically trained on how we are to think and act. Again, we have been told who we are. They even took the liberty of rewriting our history, falsifying our records, and even whitewashing our images and our heritage. And so we have been doing everything that they have expected us to do because they have given us the blueprint. And we as a nation of people have been living out their purpose for us. We've been living a lie. We've been told, oh, you complain too much. You know, we've been told you expect for society to hand everything over to you on the silver platter. Oh, you're too sensitive. You know, you just need to just get over it and move on. Oh, we've even been told that we're lazy people. Go figure, us. A nation of people whose ancestors built this nation by the sweat of their brows are lazy. We, who are the originators and the inventors of everything that we see moving and working and functioning in this society, we are lazy? We whose ancestors broke their backs in the dead of heat, we complain too much? We are too sensitive? You see, the problem is, or shall I say, what they're really saying is we want you to just shut up and do what we tell you to do. What they're really saying is we want you to stay plugged into our matrix. And sadly, our people have played right into their hands. And as Yah said that we would, he said that you would be a reproach to your neighbors. He said that you will be a shaking of the head among all the nations around you. And our people, we are a shaking of the head. I shake my head at our people. We're wicked. We're ignorant. We love lies. We love to celebrate everything that is false. And then when the truth is put in our face, we reject it. And so we're going to listen to a quick audio clip. This brother is, when I say he is on point about our condition, he is on point. For some people, this might make them upset, but the truth is the truth. We're going to listen to this clip, and we'll come right back.
Tired of the wickedness, man. I'm getting tired of it. I'm about to rant. Man, does anybody believe in God anymore? Do anybody care about right from wrong anymore? I'm getting sick and tired of it, man. I'm getting tired of the wickedness, man. I'm getting tired of it. I'm about to rant. If you're emotional and you can't take correction and you offended very easily, you might as well go ahead and turn this video off right now because I'm about to go in. I'm talking to you black, brown people of the world, the people that's last hired, first fired, all right, the ones that's always marching in the streets, constantly always marching, all right, the police pulling you over, profiling you, shooting you dead in the street in front of your mothers. I'm getting sick of it, man. I'm about to talk about this. I can't let this go no more. I gotta say something. You guys are wicked as hell. I'm just gonna say it straight up. I'm tired of it. Nobody believes in God no more. Nobody believes in the Bible no more. You guys fill up these Christian churches on Sunday, get dressed up all nice, and don't learn a damn thing. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You're just running around like chickens with your head cut off, in the hoods, fighting, acting ratchet, killing each other, shooting each other, gang banging, selling drugs to your brother. I'm getting sick and tired of it. Everywhere you go in America, throughout the world, you see our people struggling. We broke. In the hood. Nobody's doing nothing. Everybody's sitting around, going to work every day. That's it. Trying to make ends meet. Aren't y'all getting sick and tired of being on the bottom of the society? Y'all not getting tired of this, man? You're not tired of struggling with child support? You know what I'm saying? Baby mama, baby daddy issues. Y'all ain't getting sick and tired of this crap? I mean, I'm getting to the point now where it smells nasty to me now, man. I'm getting tired of seeing it. But the thing is we get worse and worse. The more bad things happen to us, the more evil we get as a people. What the hell is wrong with us, man? There's no God nowhere, anywhere in our communities no more. We all mixed up in all kinds of wickedness and hitting the club and twerking and all this thought crap. I'm sick of it, man. I'm about to talk about it right now. I can't do it no more. Listen, we on the bottom. We slaves. Have we ever been released back to our homeland since we got brought over here on ship? Has anyone ever thought about that? We still here working 12-hour shifts, trying to make ends meet, living in the hood. Maybe a few of us might make it out the hood playing sports or singing or rapping. But for the most part, man, we still struggling. And the reason being is because we don't know who the hell we are. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing. Our mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, so on and so forth, have not told us what we're supposed to be doing. They have not told us who our God is. They haven't told us that we're supposed to be doing certain things correctly and what we're not supposed to be doing. They haven't been doing it. But black and brown man, woman, children, the Bible is your history. You don't know that. You don't know who you are. You call yourself a black person. What the hell is a black person? Can somebody tell me what the hell is a black person? I have not seen no human being on the earth that has the color of black on their skin. That makes no sense. Who are you? Where you come from? Everybody just say Africa, but if you ask 30 different people from black Americans and people from the islands, they'll tell you they're from Africa, but nobody can tell you where from. It's hundreds of countries, thousands of different tribes in Africa. Which one you come from? You don't know. But the Bible tells us our history. The Bible lets us know who we are. And it's because of our evil and our wickedness. We evil as hell. We sell drugs to our family members. We fight. We shoot each other down. We petty as hell. We can't come together. God said that. He said that'll happen. The homosexuality and lesbianism is off the chart. God said in the Bible that is a sin. He hates that stuff. He hates when you kill your brother. He hates when you sleep with your brother's woman. God hates these things, and the reason why we're going through what we're going through is because we don't see that stuff is wrong, and he's punishing us. He's whooping our asses. Excuse my French. Now let me read a Bible verse real quick. Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 26. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths and I am profaned among them. Our people hate God. There's no difference between what's good and what's evil amongst us. We just follow what America say. If America say two men can sleep in the same bed and do things to each other, then we just go along with it. But God said that's wrong. America say you can gangbang and shoot your brother down in the street. But God says it's wrong. And every time you do these things, you get some sort of judgment for it. You're getting AIDS in your behind. You're getting shot down. You're getting all kinds of wickedness. You're going to jail for 20, 25 years when you're 18 years old. When are we going to get sick of this? When is black and brown people, what we like to call them, when are we going to wake up and say, you know what? That Bible is talking about us. Let me get some more scriptures, man. God said, ye shall be holy unto me. This is Leviticus 20, verse 26. For I, the Lord, am holy, and I have severed you from other people that ye shall be mine. Black and brown people, you the children of the book. You're the children of Jacob. Once you realize this, you will realize the why that we live in the hoods across America, why we got to apply for food stamps, why we never get the promotion on our jobs, why we don't own nothing. We own less than 1% of anything in this country. But yet we hold so dear and true to America. This is not our home. We're over here because of what we've done and what we continue to do today. Stop cross-dressing. Men, stop wearing what women wear. Women, stop wearing what men wear. It puts bad spirits on you. The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 26. This is what God said. For this cause, God gave them up to vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burned in their lust one towards another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving into themselves a recompense, meaning a payback of their error, which is meat. Stop sleeping men with men, woman and woman. It's wrong. I don't care what America says. Because at the end of the day, when you break God's laws, you're going to get in trouble for it. The other nations don't get in trouble for it. God said, I set you apart from all the other nations, and I set you to be holy. We don't want to be holy. We want to be filthy. We want to be evil. We want to be wicked. We want to do drugs. We want to whore out our women, turn them into whores, and we complain these hoes ain't loyal. How can they be loyal when you haven't showed them what was right? You never showed our women that they're supposed to have one husband. Of course they're not going to be loyal. You didn't teach them a damn thing. Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. I will go and return to my place, saith the Lord, till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face, which is this Bible. But God said in their affliction they will seek me early. When you get in your behind shot down in the street, when Donald Trump take your food stamps, when you start getting thrown in concentration camps, you're going to seek the Lord. You don't have another choice because he's not nobody else's Lord. He's our Lord. But we make America our Lord. We make our oppressor our Lord. We follow every single thing this man does and tell us what to do, and we follow it. God said, don't be homosexual. Oh, well, America says, Pride Week. I don't give a damn about Pride Week. God said it's wrong. So don't do it. Let me get some more scripts, man. 1 Corinthians 6:9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators. Men sleeping around with all these women hitting the club. You a fornicator. Nor idolaters, nor adulterers. Stop sleeping with men's wife. If that's that man's girl, leave her alone. Get your own. There's more women that's out on the street free than there is men. There's plenty of women. Get you one woman. Nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. No homosexuality. Nor thieves. Stop stealing. Covetousness. Stop wanting what your brother got. If he got a nice car, don't want his car. Go get your own car. Nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get it. You're going to be put to death. Jeremiah 4:1, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, meaning stupid, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. When are we going to wake up, man? When are we going to wake up? When are we going to realize that our only benefit is doing what's right? When are we going to learn that? When are we going to learn what's the difference between what's right according to God, the one that created us, and then the world? When are we going to learn these things? If you don't learn, you're going to be put to death. Judgment is going to come on you at some point because it's coming to this country. Just know that the black and brown people, you are the children of God. If you was brought over on slave ships, According to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, you the chosen people of God, and that's the reason your butts is getting whooped in the streets. I'm sick of the wickedness. I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it no more. It's time to come out of that crap, man. Learn, read the Bible, blow the dust off of it, and learn what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay. I mean, you can definitely sense the anger and the frustration, and I think, we've all been there because I've had my days on this teaching where I've been right where he is, because I do get frustrated with our people because it just seems like we don't know how to do right. We run to wickedness, and we don't teach our children anything. We don't teach our children and train them up in the way of Yah, and then we send them out into the world and allow the world to teach them. But as he said, we were a set-apart people. And it's time for us to wake up, and whether we want to or not, it's time. It's time to unplug ourselves from the lies. It's time to slap ourselves out of this stupor, this drunken sleep of hypnosis that we've been under, this sunken place in the mind that many of our people feel so comfortable remaining in. And I get it. It's safe. Where our people are right now is safe. It's safe to continue to rely on our oppressors, okay? Uniformity and traditions have always been so much easier in a society rather than stepping outside the box, okay? And mainly because we know that living outside of that cookie-cutter norm can be met. We know that when we live outside that cookie-cutter norm, we know that we can be met with detrimental consequences, okay? We see it all the time when someone, entertainer, takes a stand for truth. Next thing you know, they attack your finances, you lose endorsements, you might lose your business, we see it. And so with the awakening of the true faith, okay, the time has come that we realize that the truth and the realities that held true for our parents and their parents, those truths no longer hold true for us and this end-time chosen generation of people that Yah has awakened. It's time out for walking around in ignorance. It's time out for walking around in ignorance, because living our life in any other way outside of the purpose in which Yah has created us to be has even more detrimental consequences, and we're seeing this, okay? And so no transformation, no metamorphosis, no degrees, no careers, no religions, no titles, no man, no woman, no amount of success in this life or in this fallen world will ever fulfill you until you have a firm understanding and acceptance of who you are. Because I have all of those aforementioned things, and it was not until I discovered who I was and who Yah purposed for me and my people to be that I truly realized how special I was. It wasn't until I realized, accepted, and began walking in the Creator's true purpose for my life. It wasn't until then did the confusion begin to dissipate. It wasn't until then where all of my questions that I had as a little girl were answered. As a little girl, I always wondered, why is my skin this color? Like the little boys, like the young gentleman said at the beginning of the audio clip. He said some of the kids said, "Oh, well, we can't play with you because your skin dirty," and so he went home and asked his mom, "Well, can you wash my skin so I can go play with the other kids?" Why? I had, as a little girl, I asked that question. Why is my skin this color? Why does it look like everyone else's? Why is my hair so different? Why are my lips so big? Why do they hate me? Why are they so scared of us? Why are they calling me Blackie or Coon or Monkey? Why do they treat my people this way? All of these questions and more were finally answered when I came into the truth of who I was, and not only that, but when I also accepted the truth and began to search for my God. When I began to search for the Almighty One of Israel, the Almighty One that saved my people with a mighty hand from Pharaoh. When Yah awakened me from the lies and the falsehood and gave me a fresh new pair of eyes that I could see, eyes that could see past the deception, eyes that could see past the deceit and the cover-ups that have held our people mentally captive for centuries upon centuries. When I realized the truth, I was not only sad and angry, but I vowed that I would never go back. I vowed to never return back to my old ways. I vowed to find the true God of the Bible and not the one that they gave my ancestors. Because my ancestors did not serve a God that had no power. My ancestors did not serve an Almighty One that had no laws. My forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, did not serve a Most High that had no requirements of us. They didn't serve a Most High that allowed us to do whatever we wanted to do and allowed us to choose how we wanted to live. Our Father Yah, He gave our people commandments and laws and statutes and judgments. He gave His people a standard of righteousness. And He does care how we carry ourselves. He cares how we live our life. He has given us precepts to guide and influence and to direct us in this walk. And so, again, we have been like a fish out of water ever since, trying to find out who we are in this world. Because everyone has been staring at us in this clear fishbowl for centuries, knowing that we're fish. But the problem has been is that we're the only ones who don't realize it. They're looking at us in this clear bowl. They know that we're fish. They know who we are. But we don't. And for centuries, we've been like a tree without roots. And those who have rejected the truth about themselves, they only do so because they don't know who they are. They don't know their true roots. So they gravitate to Africa because it's the closest thing to what we could be. But there is no Wakanda movie, no African, no Egyptian, no pro-black movement that will ever answer the questions that you have been searching for generations. And that question is who you are. Who are you? And so we're going to listen to another audio clip, and then we're going to come right back.
What if I told you that just about everything you were taught in school or church about history has been a lie? What if I told you that you are not a Gentile or a Hamite Egyptian or a Canaanite? And what if I told you that the very Bible that you read is talking about you and your ancestors? What if I told you that all the suffering our people has gone through for centuries is just a continuation of a divine punishment from God? And what if I told you that this punishment is otherwise known as the curses of Israel? And what if I told you that the people the world knows as Jews are not the real biblical Hebrew Israelites of the Bible? Would you believe me? From the very beginning, there has been a battle between good and evil, between the seed of Satan, the fallen angels who were deified by man, and the seed of Seth. But this battle was an eternal battle that will continue until the biblical end of days. This battle continued after the great flood with Noah, his 3 sons, and their seed, but in a different form. A form that the world would see as deception. But this was no ordinary deception, as this deception would be directed at one future seed, the seed of Jacob, otherwise known as the children of Israel, from whom Christ the Mashiach came. The plan was perfect, that is, according to Satan's eyes, as the Israelites would be subjugated to these different forms of deception throughout the ages, during their different stages of captivity or exile into the nations. The deception would be so big, coming at the Israelites from so many angles, that it would cause them to break the covenant given to them from God directly to Moses. What happened next will continue for over 3,000 years, affecting one specific group of people.
Hi, shalom, shalom from Israel. This is Ola, the daughter of Jethro. And I just heard that you black people that was stolen from Africa to America, that you don't know who you are, but you are the children of Yahweh, the children of Israel. And I'm telling you, you have to come back to your homeland, here to Zion, to Jerusalem, because us the Gentiles, we do need you. We need you to come and pray, because you are our Savior. You're the one that was chosen by Yahweh to live in this land, not the Jewish people, it's you. You were stolen from Africa, they deceived you, they told you that you are slaves, but you actually the children of Israel. And it's time just to come back. Come for your people, come back for us, come back for the whole Gentiles, because only you gonna save us. So please come back to Zion.
Segregation, whites and blacks, minorities, from black Jews to light Jews to dark Jews.
Black Jews, black Jews, black Jews.
Yes.
So it's not just blacks, it's anti-Semitism. He expresses, but he's Jewish.
Conversion. Personally, I like to think that the same people who think Chuck Norris is a great actor think Obama's the Antichrist. That's hilarious to me. But keep in mind, according to the book of Revelation, John saw Jesus and described him as having hair like wool and feet the color of burned brass. Yeah, he's a brother. It's going to be very awkward for the rapture folk when Jesus comes back and winds up being a homeless liberal black guy who speaks zero English. Now, I know this is very depressing, all you rapture Christians, but cheer up. The rapture may be a racket, but it's not the end of the world. That's Viewpoint for tonight. I want to thank
What I'm about to tell you is that the Israelites, so-called Jews that are living in Israel today, are not the real Israelites. The real Israelites are the black and brown people of the world. What happened was when the black people that were the true Israelites and the brown people that were the true Hebrew Israelites fell from God's word, as it is written, were cursed. So what happened was Rome came and sacked that land, and they all fled. They went in all around the place, all around up north, south, east, west, but mostly down into Africa. They lived there for a little while in the wilderness until they were taken by slave ships to the Americas. The people that are in Israel today are converts. They come from Khazaria, which is southern Russia. They were visited by Hebrew Israelites at one time and learned from them. That's how they know all the customs. They can speak Hebrew and all that. They learned that. But they converted to Judaism. They are not the true Hebrew Israelites.
And I just wanted to be talking about that Jesus was not white. He was a black man. And I know this is going to offend a lot of you racist Christians out there, man, but it's true, man. I mean, I'm not going to lie. White people are racist, man. Seriously, I was in that boat. I mean, white people are racist, but I'm not sticking up for, I'm not kissing butt here, but I'm just saying that Jesus was not white. He was a black man. He was a black man. I got proof to back this stuff up, man. And I'm just saying, man, I see white Jesus all over the churches, white Jesus all over the walls, and Jesus wasn't white, man. You preachers know that. You preachers know he wasn't white. You're afraid to stick up for the true Jesus Christ? Are you serious, man? What are you doing? You're just wasting your time, man. I mean, if you're not going to preach the true gospel, I mean, you might as well just sell your soul to Satan, man. You ain't fooling God. But anyways, I'm coming just to tell you people, man, that Jesus was not white. He was a black man. And a lot of people do not know this, man, because This is just a lie that's been going around, and I know preachers read this stuff, but they don't want to talk about how Jesus was black. They don't want to talk about how Jesus had a rejecting image. They don't want to talk about that. They want to make Jesus white. You can't make Jesus white. He wasn't white. You can't make Jesus white. You can't. You can't make Jesus Japanese. You can't make Jesus Chinese. You can't make Jesus Mexican. Jesus was black. He was black when he walked.
Hi everybody, my name is Daniel St. Germain. I'm going to do this real fast. My phone only gives me about 7 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the scripture first on 2 sets of Jews, the true chosen people of God from the beginning, and the imposters. Straight scripture, straightforward, right now. Get your pens ready. Everything I'm going to tell you in this little synopsis that I'm going to give you for the fake Jews. Revelations 2:9 and Revelations 3:9. Those 2 last ones are going to mention, I know your troubles and those who say they are Jews but are not. But check all those scriptures after I give a synopsis. Believe no man. Now, to the real Hebrew Israelites. You're going to refer to Deuteronomy 28:64 through 68. He is reprimanding and passing judgment on the Israelites for the wrongs that they did, and they did wrong, and they get their judgment, and they have suffered it. He sent them into ships, into bondage, scattered, so they would never know their land again, it says. That they will never know who their God is. And God shall turn his back on them. They never knew who they were. The Jews today happen to have heritage and they know who they are, but it violates everything that we're going to look at in your scriptures of Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, Zechariah. These people who went by ship, when you read that in detail, it tells details of being raped, they're borrowers, there will never be a lender. It gets into such great detail, there's only one race on the planet in the history of man this could be, and I'm not going to tell you.
Hello out there to everyone viewing this video. My name is Brother Dana Stevens, and I'm coming to you and going to say some of the same words that I used in a video I created a little over a year ago, that by the time this video is over with, many of my white family and church family once again will reject me and dislike me. But I need to put this out there and put this out there right now. The white Jews that you and I have honored and been taught all these years are God's chosen people is an absolute lie. They are imposters. They are fake. They are descendants of the Romans that rose up into power in between the New Testament and the Old Testament that we as Christians believe was the Dark Ages, but God was speaking. But as they rose to power, they did exactly what Deuteronomy chapter 28 said would be done out of the very mouth of our God, when he said that my people will be taken from a land and stripped of their name, their identity, their culture, and everything about them, and brought to a land where they will be enslaved, and where they will be beat, and where they will fear the terror of their master day and night. And one of those verses in Deuteronomy chapter 28 says that even that nation will hover over them like that of an eagle. And so with that basis of that understanding, I am telling to you, my white brothers and sisters, that we have been duped all these years. We have been duped to believe that our black family members are low-life monsters created to be slaves and nothing more than that. But the truth is the absolute opposite. They are the chosen of God. They are the chosen of Yah. And God, even the God that we say we call upon in Christianity, is coming back to redeem his people. And it makes it very clear that the nation that held his people in slavery are going to fall, much like Pharaoh fell when he refused to let God's chosen people go. And I know you're going to doubt me and say, prove it, but my question is this: how much proof do you and I have on the things that you and I believe that we've been taught? I've never done research. So read The International Jew, which was written by Henry Ford, who built so-called You're in My Car, that back in the 1920s and 30s, he spent millions of dollars, 2 or 3, to do research and found out that the Jews that we serve today are fake Jews, and the relationship between our government and those Jews is based off of wealth, not that they're God's chosen people. That is the facade for us to tie with the enemy, while the real chosen people that we have enslaved are stripped of their identity and who they are.
Okay. And so all of just from this brief audio clip that you just listened to, all of these testimonies that you heard, these are from Caucasians. These were not from so-called blacks or African Americans. These were from Caucasians who are actually, and some of them were who the world know as Jewish today. They're actually admitting the truth. And so we're going to start going into some scripture now. If you could quickly go to Matthew chapter 22, verse 14. Matthew 22 and 14 reads, "Many are called, but few are chosen." Many are called, but few are chosen. And when I looked up the meaning of two specific words, called and chosen, it rereads that many are invited, but few are selected. Because to be called means that you're invited, okay? And to be chosen means that you are selected. And I've used this example before. If if an employer puts an ad out for a job, and they may call 10 people, and may call or invite, because to be called is to be invited. They may call or invite 10 people to come and interview for the position. But few are chosen, meaning maybe few are selected. Maybe they may have 1 or 2 positions available. So although many are called or many are invited to interview, few are chosen. Few are selected. Okay? And so as we read Matthew 22 and 14, many are called, few are chosen. Matthew 15 and 24, but Yeshua answered and said, "I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." So Yeshua himself said that he was not sent, okay, except for those who are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And then when we read Hebrews chapter 8, verses 8 and 10, it says, "Behold, the days are coming, says Yah, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Yah. I will put my laws in their minds and write them in their hearts, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people." And what we just read in Hebrews 8, 8 and 10 is again restated in Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 31 through 33. We're looking at the renewed covenant, that covenant that will be renewed for these same people that Yah enter into a covenant agreement with. Go to Psalms 147, and we're going to read verses 19 and 20. Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Yah declares his word to Jacob, his statutes and his judgments to Israel. He has not done so with any other nation. I'm going to read this again. Yah declares his word to Jacob, Jacob, our patriarch father, had 12 sons. Okay, and those 12 sons became known today as the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, and so Psalms 147 verse 19 says that Yah declares his word to Jacob, his statutes and his judgments to Israel. It says that he has not done so with any other nation. So as the brother was saying in the clip, that he is our power. And this is not to say that no other nation can receive salvation, because we don't teach that doctrine here. But we have to be honest, and we have to teach what the Bible says. We are the nation that he is going to renew the covenant with. We are the ones that he declared his word, his statutes, his judgments to, and he states that he has not done so with any other nation. Every nation of people were not standing there saying all that Yah has said we will do. He says they have not known his judgments. So Yah is telling you, like the brother said in the clip, if we do something wrong, we're going to get judged 7 times worse. We're going to be the ones that get spanked up. You wonder why the other nations are able to do the things that they're doing and then still be successful and still get away with it? It's because they were not his power. They were not the one that entered into a covenant agreement. They were not his bride. We were. Our forefathers were the ones that stood there and took the oath that they would obey his laws, statutes, and judgments. Yah says that he declares his word to Jacob, his statutes, and his judgments to Israel. He has not done so with any other nation, and they have not known his judgments. They don't know his judgments. His judgments are his consequences. It's the punishment. Sometimes it depends on what it is that you're doing. And then it says, hallelujah, at the end of that. So let's go to Genesis chapter 12. We're going to read verses 1 through 4. Genesis chapter 12, 1 through 4. And Yah has said to Abram, go out from your land and from your kindred and from your father's house to the land which I will show you, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you will be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you and curse the ones despising you. And in you all families of the earth shall be blessed. And Abram went out, even as Yah had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was a son of 75 years when he departed from Haran. So this right here, we see the promise being given through our forefather Abraham. Now, he was a father of many nations, okay? And but the blessing will come through a specific seed, okay? Not a seed of bondage, but a seed of that which was free. And so this is where you get why the nation themselves right now protect the nation of Israel. Because they know that Yah said that we will bless those that bless you and curse those who curse you. So it's no wonder why you see them over there blessing the fake Jews, the ones who are not his chosen people, the converts, the Khazars, okay? They're protecting the wrong people, and they're persecuting the ones that they should be protecting. But again, when you don't know who the true chosen people are, this is what happens. We don't know who we are, and the majority of the world doesn't know who we are. Even though there are many, especially those who took us and brought us here to this country, they do know who we are. Go to Genesis chapter 17. Genesis 17, we're going to read verses 1 through 7. Genesis 17 and 1. And when Abram was 99 years old, Yah appeared to Abram and said to him, I am Most High. Walk before me and be perfect, and I will make my covenant between me and you and will increase you very greatly. And Abram fell on his face, and Yah spoke with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. And your name no longer shall be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. So we know that in the Hebrew names mean something. Abraham, he was a father of many nations, which means exalted. He was an exalted father. Verse 6, and I will make you very fruitful and exceeding, and I will give you for nations, and kings shall come out of you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a almighty one, a God of power to you and to your seed after you. So we see here that the promise is through our forefather Abraham and his seed. And he says he's making a covenant, okay, between you and your seed that's coming after you in their generations. And this is not a contract. A contract is something that expires. A covenant is something that cannot be broken. He said this is for an everlasting covenant, that he will be our power, our mighty one, okay, our Father. And to not only to our forefathers, but to the seeds after him. That includes us. Go to Genesis chapter 32. Because we're going to read Genesis 32, verses 24 through 30. And so just fast forwarding, that covenant went from our forefather Abraham, and it went from Abraham to his son Isaac. And Abraham showed that he loved Yah more than his own son when he was willing to sacrifice. Abraham was just being tested, and he passed the test. And so because of what he did, we're here today, okay? He has established his covenant with him. And it went from Abraham to Isaac, and then it went from Isaac to Jacob. Okay, Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes. And so we're fast forwarding to Jacob. Genesis 32, verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the rising of the dawn. Now, Jacob is just giving a quick synopsis. Jacob is exhausted. He's on the run from his brother Esau because of what happened. We're going to go into that in a moment. He tricked him into selling his birthright, and Esau he came out first. Okay, there were two different nations in the womb. Esau came out first, and Jacob grabbed onto his heel. They were arguing and contending and fighting in the womb to receive the blessing first. Okay, Esau came out first. Okay, Esau was on the run because he had killed Nimrod. Okay. He knew his life was over, so he's selling. He just wants him something to eat. He despised his birthright. He didn't consider it worth anything. Jacob tricked him into giving him the birthright, and then his father, Isaac blessed him. Okay? Isaac blessed Jacob, and so Esau has been upset ever since. And so now he's on the run because he declared that when my father dies, so will you. And so his mother is basically sending him on the run. Jacob, leave because your brother is going to kill you. So he's exhausted. He's tired. Okay? Jacob was left. So now here we are, Genesis 32, verse 24. And Jacob was left alone. And a man, some of your scriptures may say an angel. Okay? Mine saying man. A man or an angel wrestled with him until the rising of the dawn. And he saw that he had not prevailed against him. And he touched him on his hip socket. And Jacob's hip socket became unhinged as he was wrestling with him. And he said, send me away, for the dawn has ascended. And Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with Yah and men and have prevailed. And Jacob asked and said, please reveal your name. And he said, why is it that you ask about my name? In the sense that he blessed him there. And we're going to go into this in a moment. Verse 30. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, because I saw Yah face to face, and my life was delivered. So Jacob was contending or wrestling or struggling with the son of Yah. This Yeshua is also the messenger of Yah, the Malak. If you don't know who Yeshua is and who he was before he came into the earth, or who they know him in the so-called New Testament, Yeshua was the one that the Israelites communicated with. He was the one that they spoke to. He was the one that Jacob was wrestling with or contending or struggling with. Because if you look in your Bibles, you notice when he asked him to let him go, you notice how when it says he, and notice where it's capitalized. Some of you should notice it says when he wrestled with him. My Bible is capitalized. The him this is not just any man or any angel, but this is the Son of Yah. This is Yeshua, okay, who is also the messenger of Yah. And if you don't know who Yeshua is and who he was in the original covenant, which you like to refer to as the old, you're going to be confused on this. So you might want to go back to our archives via the Daughter of Yah channel and listen to that, who is Yeshua. But Jacob, he was contending or wrestling with the Son of Yah. And we're going to go in. I'm going to show you. We're going to go to a precept to prove to you that this is who he was wrestling with or struggling or contending with. Go to Hosea chapter 12. Quickly go to Hosea chapter 12. We're going to read verses 2 through 5. Hosea 12, verses 2 through 5. It says, Yah also has a quarrel with Judah and will punish Jacob according to his ways. He will repay him according to his deeds. It says, he took his brother by the heel in the womb. Okay, so here we see that Yah has a quarrel. Like, I have an audience, Judah. He said he's going to punish Jacob according to his ways. He said he took his brother by the heel in the womb. So this is going back to that time where they were fighting in the womb. He says he took his brother by the heel in the womb. And it says, and by his strength, he contended with Yah. It says he took his brother by the heel in the womb. And then it says, by his strength, he contended with Yah. Now, I want you to highlight verse 3 or underline it. Because it says, he took his brother by the heel in the womb. And by his strength, he contended with Yah. Yes, he contended with the messenger or the Malak and overcame. He wept and pleaded to him. He found us at Bethel, and he spoke with us there. Even Yah, the Almighty One of Hosts. Yah is his memorial. So Jacob's life, because right here, Hosea is telling you, this is a prophecy of telling you what we just got finished reading in Genesis chapter 32. Yeshua, the angel that he wrestled with, or the man, it wasn't a regular man. He says, your name shall no longer be called Jacob but Israel, because you struggled with Yah and men, and you prevailed. When we read Hosea 12, verse 3, it says that he took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he contended with Yah. Jacob's life would be one of a never-ending struggle. From the womb, he struggled and fought with his brother. He was determined to come out first. And although Jacob did not come out first, he and his mother, through deception, tricked his father Isaac. And he tricked his father Isaac into believing that he was Esau, and eventually, through his trickery, Jacob received the blessing. This is not to say, or shall I say, it should be noted that Esau did despise his birthright and he sold it to Jacob. But nonetheless, the way that Jacob and his mother went about receiving what Yah was going to bless him with anyway, it was deceptive. In fact, according to Strong Hebrews 3290, Jacob's name means heel holder or supplanter, a.k.a. deceiver, trickster, okay? And so Jacob's life would be one of anxiety, one of stress, one of struggle, okay? Because after he got tired of his father-in-law, Laban, who tricked him into serving him for 14 years just to marry his daughter, Rachel. He was tired of that. Basically, he met his match because he was a trickster. Jacob left. After he got tired of what was going on with his father-in-law, Laban, he left only to encounter his bitter brother, Esau, who sought to kill him. And so while on the run, physically exhausted, alone in the desert, trying to escape death at the hands of his brother, Jacob now faces another challenge, okay? A struggle with Yah himself through his son, Yeshua. And so we see two things have occurred here. First, we see that Jacob struggles with Esau, and second, Jacob struggles with Yah. This is the real struggle, the struggle with Yah. And so we find that at the end of that struggle, we find that Jacob the deceiver, he receives a new name, Israel. But even more importantly, what's more important is what happens or what occurs at the end of this struggle. Let's go back and reread Genesis chapter 32, verses 24 through 30 again. Genesis 32, verse 24. And Jacob was alone, and a man or an angel wrestled with him until the rising of the dawn. And he saw that he had not prevailed against him, and he touched him on his hip socket. And Jacob's hip socket was unhinged as he wrestled with him. And he said, "Send me away, for the dawn has ascended." And Jacob said, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And he said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with Yah. You have struggled, you have contended with Yah and with men, and have prevailed." And Jacob asked and said, "Please reveal your name." And he said, "Why is it that you ask about my name?" But then it says that he blessed him there. And then it says that Jacob called the name of that place Peniel. He says, "Because I saw Yah face to face, and my life was delivered." So, according to the Blue Letter Bible, in the proper context in which it's being spoken, where it says he struggled with Yah, he wrestled. Some of yours say struggle, some say contend, some say wrestle. Same thing. To contend or to struggle or wrestle means to have power. He struggled with Yah. It means to have power. To persist, meaning to be persistent. To persevere. And it says to prevail or to have power as a prince. To have power as a prince. To persevere, to be persistent. Thesaurus.com for persevere, it says to endure. To endure, to contend or to wrestle or to struggle, you must struggle or suffer much tribulation to enter into the kingdom. And we learned this before. We learned this before about what it means to struggle. Okay? But to persevere means to endure. It means to hold on. To hold on. Did not Jacob hold on to the heel of his brother when he was struggling, wrestling, and fighting in the womb? He took hold of his heel. To persevere means to endure, to hold on, to continue, to pursue, to persist. It says to be determined. It also means to stand firm, to last, meaning you last, you endure to the end, you last. And it says to survive, to remain. Only a remnant will be saved. Only a remnant will survive. Only a remnant will last, endure, or persevere. So he says, Jacob will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with Yah and men, and you have prevailed. Meaning you have persevered. You have endured to the end. You have lasted. You were determined to survive. You were persistent. You have power with Yah as a prince. And so we find that at the end, again, of Jacob's struggle with Yeshua, because that's who he was struggling with. That's who he was contending with. We find that at the end of the struggle, Yeshua blesses him. Because he said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. And so it is clear that Jacob knows who he was wrestling with. He knows that who he was wrestling or contending with, he knows that this person, this angel, this man, he knew that he had the authority to bless him. You don't just go to anybody and say, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Jacob clearly understood. It was clearly stated in this, what we read, that Jacob was not going to let Yeshua go until he blessed him. Jacob was beyond determined to get blessed, just as he was determined to get blessed from the womb. When he grabbed hold of Esau, his brother's heel, attempting to come out first, he was persevering. He was struggling. He was fighting. He was holding on and determined to get blessed, to persevere, to last, to survive. Okay? He was determined to get blessed from the womb when he grabbed hold of Esau's heel. And that's what it means to contend, to struggle, to rest. It means to persevere, to endure, to hold on. He held on to his brother's heel, attempting to come out first. And he was determined. And when that didn't happen, he didn't come out first. He was determined by any means. Okay, I didn't get it from the womb when I grabbed hold of my brother's heel. Okay, now I'm going to be determined by any means to get blessed by my father Isaac. And then when he wrestled with and when he was determined to be blessed by his Abba Yah, this is, I hope you guys switch. This is powerful what has just been said here. I'm hoping that you guys are like, because when I figured this, when he revealed this, I'm like, wow. I want to read a precept. Go to Genesis chapter 48, and we're going to read verses 15 and 16. Genesis 48, 15 and 16. And he blessed Joseph and said, the God before whom my forefathers Abraham and Isaac walked, because this is Jacob. Okay, Jacob is now blessing his son Joseph, and he blessed his son Joseph and his two sons Manasseh and Ephraim. Okay, and so now he's blessing Joseph, and Jacob is blessing Joseph, and Yah before whom my forefathers Abraham and Isaac walked. He said, the Elohim who has fed me. Now let's pay attention to this. He said, the Elohim, he's blessing Joseph, the Elohim who has fed me since I was born until today. Look at verse 16. The messenger that redeemed me from every evil. Who is he talking about? Who is Jacob? He right now, he's like, I'm on my deathbed. I'm getting ready to bless my sons. I'm getting ready to bless Joseph. I'm getting ready to bless his two children. And so we're going back to when he was wrestling with Yeshua, and he is recalling this when he is blessing his son Joseph. He's saying, the messenger that redeemed me from every evil. Remember, he said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. So now he's recounting what that experience, just like Paul had his experience on his way to the road to Damascus. He is recounting his experience with Yeshua as well. He said, and he blessed Joseph and said, the Elohim before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the Elohim who has fed me since I was born until today, the messenger that redeemed me from every evil, may he bless the youth, and may my name be called on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and may they, like fishes, grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Jacob Jacob was determined to be blessed. He was determined through struggling, through perseverance, and through persistence. Jacob was determined to prevail and overcome evil. I'm going to read a precept. 1 John chapter 5, verses 4 and 5 reads, 1 John 5, verse 4 and 5. Because everything has been regenerated of Yah overcomes this world. And this is the victory which overcomes the world, even our faith. Who is the one overcoming the world except the one who believes that Yeshua is the Son of Yah? Who is the one overcoming the world? Who is the one who is the victory? Who is the one that prevails? He prevailed over men and Yah, except the one who believes that Yeshua is the Son of Yah. Did not Jacob just admit, when we read Genesis 48 and 15 and 16, that the messenger that redeemed him, he knew who he was, because he said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. When I looked up hold on, which we learned means to struggle, when I looked up to hold on, it said to compete and to contend. To compete and contend. This is why Jacob was holding on to the heel of Esau. From the beginning, he was competing. He was determined to overcome evil, just as is stated in Genesis 48, 15, and 16. And so, the gist of what is happening in Genesis 48, when Jacob is struggling with Yah, is this: the blessings will not come from scheming, but surrender and trust. Okay? Yeshua's like, look, you've been trying to do it your way. You know, you've been tricking people. You know, you've been trying to do it your way. You know, but until you finally surrender and recognize that I am the source, you will not be blessed. And so we see Jacob surrendering. This is symbolic of Jacob surrendering through seeking our Abba Yah, finally realizing that it is only in and through him that he will be blessed. And so the name change from Jacob the deceiver is significant, because we know that in the Bible, and again, names have meanings. And so Jacob goes from Jacob the deceiver or supplanter, because he was no longer going to be Jacob. He said, your name is no longer going to be Jacob, but it's going to be Israel. You're no longer going to be Jacob the deceiver, Jacob the supplanter, but you will be Israel, meaning Yah prevails. According to the Blue Letter Bible and Strong Hebrews 8280 and Strong Hebrews 4110, it means that he will rule as Yah. He will rule as Yah. That's why his name was changed. Jacob would no longer be Jacob, but he will be Israel. He would no longer be Jacob the deceiver or the supplanter, but he will be Israel, meaning Yah prevails. He will rule as Yah. He will rule as Yah. Not he is Yah, but he will rule as Yah. And so Jacob goes from self-reliance to finally surrendering all. In Hosea 12:4 and 5, Jacob prevails because he was finally broken. His hinge, Yeshua tapped his hinge, his hip bone, and it became unhinged. He finally was broken. When you read Hosea 12, it said that he pleaded. He cried out. He pleaded and cried out. How many times when you are going through things and you're doing things, you've been trying to do it your way, and then finally you have to get down on your knees and cry out to the Father, I give up. I surrender all to you. I've been trying to do it on my own. You finally have to humble yourself and be at a broken and a contrite spirit before he can finally bless you. This was Jacob. Jacob, it doesn't tell you that in Genesis, but when you read Hosea, it was more than him just saying, I'm not going to let you go until you bless him. But he finally broke down, it says, when you read Hosea chapter 12. He finally broke down. Again, Jacob only received the blessing when he stopped, when he finally ran out of options and stopped relying on his own wits, okay, and surrendered to Yah. You know, if you want Yah's power in your life, give up. If you really want to see his power in your life, surrender to him. Draw near unto him. You want to win, give up. And so now let's go fast forward to the marriage ceremony, because let's go to Exodus 19. The marriage ceremony was held in the wilderness after Yah had brought the children of Israel out of slavery from Egypt. After he brought our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, into the deserts, he spoke to his chosen people, and now we hear Exodus 19. He's brought them out. Exodus 19, we're going to read verses 1 through 6. In the third month, after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on the same day, they came to the wilderness of Sinai. For they had departed from Rephidim, had come to the wilderness of Sinai, and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountains. And Moses went up to Yah, and Yah called to him from the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob and to the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a set-apart nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. Now, what we just read was the proposal, okay? The word treasure is also used when you go to Matthew chapter 13 and 44. It also refers or relates back to Israel as well. And so we just read it's the proposal. Moses is now going to bring the proposal to the elders of the people. So continuing with Exodus 19, let's go to verse 7. So Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before them all the words which Yah commanded him. Then all the people answered together and said, All that Yah has spoken we will do. So now this is their I do. They're accepting the proposal. And so Moses brought back the words of the people to Yah. And Yah said to Moses, Behold, I come to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. So Moses told the words of the people to Yah. Okay, so they accepted it. The proposal was accepted. Now the bride, the children of Israel, has to be prepared for the wedding. Okay, so let's read verses 10 and 11. Then Yah said to Moses, Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. So when you get ready to get married, you get cleaned up. You get beautiful for your husband, your soon-to-be husband. Everyone. So he said, look, they accepted it. Now they got to get prepared for this wedding. If I'm coming to meet with them, they got to go and consecrate themselves. Let them go wash their clothes. Let them be ready for the third day. For on the third day, Yah will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. We talked about the third day last week when we talked about the significance of the third day. We know our Mashiach rose at the end of the third day. It says later. So now, Yah gives the bride the contract or the agreement for the marriage. Okay, and that consists of the 10 Commandments, his statutes, his judgments. And so some people might be like, okay, well, why did he choose them? Why were they so special? Why did he choose, them? He answers this in Deuteronomy 7, why he chose them. So go to Deuteronomy 7, and we're going to read verses 7 through 10. Deuteronomy 7 through 10. Yah did not set his love on you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the least of all people. He says, but because Yah loves you, and because he would keep the oath which he swore to your forefathers. Yah has brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Therefore know that Yah your power, he is Yah, the faithful Yah, who keeps covenant and mercy for 1,000 generations with those who love him and keep his commandments. And he repays those who hate him to their face to destroy them. He will not be slack with him who hates him. He will repay him to his face. And so, let's get to the reason for today's teaching. What is the purpose of the chosen people? What were they selected? Okay, because to be chosen means you were the selection. You were the one they selected. Plenty of people go out and date people, but then you don't marry everybody you date, right? You may go out and date someone that this is your girlfriend, but then finally it's like, okay, I love this woman. I'm choosing her to be my wife. This is the woman that I have selected. Out of all the women on the earth, I selected her to be my wife. Okay? And so let's go to Deuteronomy 14:2. What is the purpose of the chosen people, and what were they selected to do in this earth? And so I'm going to read a couple of scriptures. Deuteronomy 14:2. It says, for you are a set-apart people to Yah your power, and Yah has chosen you to be a people to him, a special treasure above all the people who are on the face of the earth. So we were chosen to be set apart unto him, period. That's it. Above all the people that's on the face of the earth. And he had requirements. Go to Deuteronomy 10. And we're going to read 12 through 16. Deuteronomy 10:12 through 16. And now, Israel, what does Yah, your power, require of you? But to fear Yah, your power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, to serve Yah, your almighty one, with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments of Yah, his statutes, which I command you for your good. Indeed, heaven and the highest heavens belong to Yah, your power. Also the earth, with all that is in it. Yah delighted only in your fathers. Are you looking at this? Yah said he only delighted in our fathers, to love them, and he chose their descendants after them. He only delighted in our forefathers, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and he loved them, and so he chose their descendants after them. He said above all people. Now, I know some people don't like it when we read this, but it is what it is. He says, as it is to this day, it has not changed. He says, therefore, circumcise the foreskin of your heart and be stiff-necked. No longer means stop being hard-headed. What he has required is that we be set apart unto him. He chose us. He said that I want you to fear me. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. I want you to fear me, to walk in my ways, to love me. Okay? Love me with all your heart and your soul and your mind, to keep my commandments, my statutes. This is what he's commanded and requires of us. The whole duty of man is to keep his commandments. That's it. That's what you were chosen to do. That's what we agreed as a nation of people. Our forefathers agreed to do that when we said that all that Yah has said in Exodus 19:3-8 that we will do. We agreed to be a set-apart people unto him and him only, to be loyal and faithful to him. And we did not hold up our end of the bargain. But how many of you know that you cannot break covenant with Yah without consequences? Because it wasn't just for our forefathers that was there today, that at that time. He said everybody and anybody of your descendants after you. Go to Deuteronomy 26. Deuteronomy 26, verse 18 and 19 reads, also today, Yah has proclaimed you to be his special people, just as he promised you that you should keep all his commandments, and that he will set you above all nations which he made, in praise, in name, and in honor, that you may be a set-apart people to Yah, your power, just as he's spoken. Do you understand? He said that we were supposed to be set apart, not just set apart, but set above all nations that he made. We were supposed to be set apart in praise and in name and in honor. Nobody is praising us. What kind of name is high above when they calling you monkey, coon, and nigger and everything else? We have bywords now. We are not high above anyone in name or in praise or in honor. Nobody is honoring us. And so just as a husband would do when he takes a wife, so did Yah in preparing to bring his new bride, Israel, into his home. Okay? After they enter into the agreement and he took them to be his and we became his people, just as a husband, once he marries his wife, now he's bringing his wife into his home. And in this case, the land where Yah chose to place his name. And so now we will read where Yah prepares his new bride, Israel, to enter into her new home. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. We're going to begin reading at verse 10. Deuteronomy 6 and 10. And it shall be when Yah your power shall bring you into the land which he has sworn to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give to you great and good cities which you have not built, and houses full of everything good which you have not filled, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyards and olive yards which you did not plant, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Then you shall be on guard that you do not forget Yah who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slaves. You shall fear Yah your power, and you shall serve him, and you shall swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods of the people who are around you, for Yah your power is a jealous God in your midst, lest the anger of Yah your power burns against you, and he destroys you from off the face of the earth. You shall not test Yah your power as you tested him in Massah. Diligently you shall keep the commandments of Yah your power and his testimony, his statutes, which he has commanded you. You shall do the right thing and the good thing in the eyes of Yah, so that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land which Yah has sworn to your fathers, to drive out all of your enemies before you, as Yah has spoken. When your sons ask you hereafter, saying, what are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Yah your power has commanded you? That you shall say to your sons, we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, and Yah brought us out of Egypt with a strong hand. And Yah gave us signs and great grievous wonders on Egypt and Pharaoh and on all his household before our eyes. And he has brought us out from there in order to bring us in to give us a land which he has sworn to our fathers. And Yah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yah our power for our good forever, to keep us alive as today. And it shall be righteousness for us when we take heed to do his commandments before Yah our power as he has commanded us. So he said that it shall be our righteousness. Our righteousness is not the righteousness that's in the world. Okay, because everything that's in the world is unrighteous. They make all kind of unrighteous laws. Their laws and their righteousness, and especially the things that they teach in the Christian church, that is unrighteous. They teach unrighteousness. They do not teach righteousness. Yah says that it shall be our righteousness when we take heed to do all of his commandments. Okay, he has commanded us to keep the Sabbath. They keep Sunday. He has commanded us to keep the law. They teach that the law is done away with. Everything that he teaches, they teach the exact opposite, and then they say, I'm blessed. So we find that being obedient to Torah was indicative of being able to dwell in the land, or in this case, being loyal and a faithful wife to Yah. Honoring the covenant was the condition and the mutual expectation to be able to remain in the house, which is Israel. So now Israel moves into her new home. Go to Joshua chapter 21. So now Israel is moving into the home. But before they moved into the home, we see that Yah was laying down the house rules. Okay, you're not getting ready to stay in my house, and you don't want to keep my statutes and my commandments. So he laid it down. Now Israel's moving into the new home. He's told them what he's expected, and now they're moving in. Joshua 21, verses 43 through 45. Joshua 21:43. And Yah gave to Israel all the land which he swore to give to their fathers, and they possessed it and lived in it. And Yah gave them rest round all about according to all that he swore to their fathers. And not a man of all their enemies stood before them. Yah delivered all their enemies into their hands. Nor did fail a word from any good word which Yah had spoken to the house of Israel. All came to pass. So we see that Yah was with them. None of their enemies was able to stand before them. He delivered them into their hands. Do we see that going on with us here today? No. And so, as we all know, Israel's faithfulness to Yah was only short-lived, and soon after they moved into their new home, Israel, they began to commit adultery, having eyes for other gods, okay, all the things he told them not to do. And so Israel forgets their vows and their purpose as laid out for them in Deuteronomy chapter 10 and 26 chapters. And so Israel, they break the covenant. So let's go to Judges chapter 2. Judges chapter 2, we're going to read 10 through 14. Judges 2, 10 through 14. And also, all that generation was gathered to their fathers, and another generation rose after them who had not known Yah, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. And the sons of Israel did evil in the sight of Yah and served the Baals. And they forsook Yah, the God of their fathers, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, and they went after other gods. So they're committing adultery. They're whoring and cheating on them, okay? That's just like you take a wife, soon as you bring her in, marry her and bring her in your home, now she cheating and she going out with a whole bunch of other dudes. You like, hey, like, what's going on? This is what Israel's doing, being unfaithful. And they forsook Yah, the God of their fathers, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, and they went after other gods, the gods of the people that were around them, and bowed themselves to them and angered Yah. This is what our people are doing today. We're going after Astra, Easter, Baal, Lord, Tammuz for Christmas, Osiris, all the gods. All these holidays honor other gods. We're doing the same thing that Israel did then. And it says in verse 13, yes, they forsook Yah and served Baals and Astra, and the anger of Yah glowed against Israel, and they gave them, and then Yah gave them into the hand of the plunderers, and they plundered them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies all around, and they were not able to stand before their enemies any longer. So now we see something completely different in Judges chapter 2 than we saw in Joshua 21, where none of their enemies were able to stand against them. By the time we get to Judges, that's completely a different story. So Yah told them in Hosea chapter 2 and 13, he says, I will punish her for the days of the Baals to which she burned incense. He says she decked herself with earrings and jewelries and went after her other lovers. But me, she forgot. This is sad. Just reading this in Hosea 2 and 13, Yah says, I will punish her for the days of the Baals that she burned incense. It says she decked herself with earrings and jewelries and went after her lovers. This is just like a wife, a husband and a wife, she's cheating on her husband, and now not only is she cheating on him, she actually getting dressed, putting on lipstick, putting on earrings, putting on jewelries that go out with other dudes. And her husband sitting there and saying, and Yah says, but she forgot about me. This is horrible. Now, when you present all of this, and when this video is done recording and you share this, like I said, many of our people are still in denial, and we have to understand that we can't browbeat our brothers and sisters, our family members, because this is only going to fall on those who have an ear to hear, those that he is drawing near. You can talk until you're blue in the face, but this is not for everyone. Remember, many are called, but only few are chosen. And so only those who have an ear to hear will be able to hear what is being said. So if they reject it, you have to just keep it moving. Let's listen to this quick 4-minute clip, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to be bringing us back because we're about done now.
Coming into the truth is not about making people believe you or agree with you. If someone does not have the seed in them, they're not going to agree with anything that we as Hebrews say, we as chosen people say. So you can be the best orator and say everything beautifully and everything else, and people still won't believe. And it's okay. Now I've learned to deal with that because when you first come into the truth, you want everyone to agree with you. You want to see, like, why can't I'm gonna make this person agree with me. I'm gonna show them so many scriptures that they just can't say no. They have to agree with me. And when we first come into the truth, many of us fall into that trap, and we just want to go out and we want to beat Esau over the head with the scriptures. We want to beat our own people over the head with the scriptures. We want to show them, look, this is what we need to be doing. We need to go back to the law, statutes, and commandments in order for us to be saved and things like that. And we fight and fight and fight. And then when you're in it long enough, you kind of realize, man, how come? I thought I did that beautifully. I thought that, that we had that debate and I just killed it on all these different points. And this person still didn't get it. Some of my brethren that I'm pretty close with, we had a discussion with this young lady that I've known for years, and we had a Bible debate, and it was going on for really back and forth for like a year and a half. I would share things with them, and I would say to her, and she would say things to me, and we would just kind of go back and forth. And I was like, man, I've really killed it. I gave all these biblical points and all this scripture and everything else, and she just cut it off and said, well, okay. Well, what about this point? And that's usually what you get a lot, especially from the other nations. You'll make great points, and then it's just straight to, well, what about this? What about that? And that goes back into the fact that you cannot mix the truth with the fake. And it took me years to learn that. No matter what you say, if the Most High does not give that person the seed, they cannot understand it. And then other people, can pick it up just like that, just totally quickly. Say it one time and they got it. You give them a little bit of rope and they're jumping into scripture, they're jumping into different things, and they're learning all over the place. And they're coming back to you like, look, this is what I learned. This is what I learned. Look at this stuff. Look at this stuff. And you just wonder, why is it that this person can get it, and the other person who seemingly is intelligent as well can't? It's all about the seed, and that's actually what we're going to be getting into today. Okay? That you cannot mix truth with the fake. Okay? And, this country has been set up it's been called the melting pot. Okay? And that everyone, all the different minorities and different people from different countries all come together, and they just come together and they make a utopia, a rainbow utopia, and everyone just gets along and everything's just great here. And that was never, ever the plan of the Most High. The Most High has always been about separation. And we're going to talk, he chose a certain people, and those people were to be separate from everyone else. And it goes against everything that this society teaches us. It's always about, you're all Americans. We're all Americans. But see, what people get confused, they get confused with citizenship, okay, as opposed to your ethnicity, okay? Just because you're born here doesn't make you an American. I always tell people, if you're on a plane and your wife was pregnant and you were going to China, and you got to China and she had the baby in China, would that then make your baby Chinese? No. So just because you're born in a certain area, that does not make you from that land or that nationality. That's where your citizenship might be, but that's not your nationality. And that's very, very important. But I want to talk really quick about how the Most High chose a specific group of people. And with this group of people are the ones that he chose to give knowledge and understanding and showed them how he wanted to be worshipped.
Okay. So, as many measure or regard success in this world, we have to realize that doesn't apply to us. As society exalts, we should be bringing down low. Whatever it is that they're exalting, we should be bringing it down low or bringing to a lower estate, because in order for us to be successful and to operate in the higher state in which was purpose for his chosen people, we have to return back to the law, that same law that the lie of Christianity has told us is done away with. But again, as the brother said, you cannot force anyone to accept the truth. You can't beat them over the head because really they're not going to get it unless he's drawing them anyway. And so I want to go to Joshua because we're almost done. Joshua chapter 1, if we can read Joshua 1, and I want to read verses 5 through 9. Joshua 1, 5 through 9. No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so will I be with you. I will not fail you, nor will I forsake you. Okay, because he's talking to Joshua now because Moses has passed on. He says, be strong and brave, for you shall cause this people to inherit the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very brave, so that you may take heed to do according to all the Torah which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may act wisely wherever you go. This book of the Torah, or this book of the law, shall not depart out of your mouth, and you shall meditate on it by day and by night, so that you shall be on guard to do according to all that is written in it. I'm going to read this again. Joshua 1 and 8. This book of the Torah shall not depart out of your mouth, and you shall meditate on it by day and by night, so that you may be on guard to do according to all that is written in it. For then you shall be successful, or you shall prosper in your way, and then you shall act wisely. So Joshua 1 and 8 is telling you what it means to be successful. To be successful is not about what you acquire in this world, because that's what this world considers. Oh, I have this prominent position. Oh, I have, this mansion. I drive this kind of car. I wear these kind of clothes. I have all this much money. I make this amount, $100,000 a year. That's not what Yah is saying makes you successful. He said that this book of the law, this book of the Torah shall not depart out of your mouth, and you shall meditate on it by day and by night. You shall be on guard to do all according to all that is written in it. He says, then you will be successful in your way. This is what it means to be successful. This is Joshua 1 and 8 is a scriptural definition of what it means to be successful. And he says, and when you do this, then you will act wisely. He says, have I not commanded you? Yes, asking the question. He said, have I not commanded you to do this? He says, be strong and brave. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for Yah, your power is with you in all places where you go. This is his assurance. At the end of verse 8, Yah said, have I not commanded you? Meaning, am I not the one telling you to keep the Torah, yet you keep saying my pastor said? Moses said the same thing to the children of Israel in Deuteronomy 29 and 9. He says, then pay attention to the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper or be successful in all that you do. In the Bible, to be successful or to prosper means to act wisely, because only the wise survive. And let me tell you, wisdom will take you much further in life than being book smart. Because a lot of people, book smart, you went to college, book smart, school smart, but they couldn't survive on the street. Wisdom will take you much further. Wisdom is how you learn how to survive when you're wise. Because there's a lot of people, what they call intelligent dummies. They got book smart, but they wouldn't know how to survive. To prosper in the context in which it's being used, Strong Hebrew 7919, because he says, then you will, when you keep this book of the Torah, then you will prosper, then you will be successful. To prosper, according to Strong Hebrew 7919, it says to be successful or to have success, to be wise, to be of understanding, to behave yourself, to be circumspect, to ponder. And it says in parentheses, they ponder or consider their steps in life. These are those who ponder or consider their steps in life. They walk circumspectly. They meaning they're careful of their life choices. They're not going around squandering and wasting away their life. Deuteronomy 29:9, it says, the secret things belong to Yah, our power, and the things revealed belong to us and to our sons forever, that we may do all the words of this Torah. Prina, you can come in. When you become a bride in waiting, I don't know if Prina is on or not, but when you become a bride in waiting, this is when you receive the gift of the set-apart spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. If you have any, press *69 on your phone. Not *69, *6. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm going to get it together. *6 on your phone. Don't laugh at me, Prina. But the bride that is awaiting, they are the ones receiving the gift of the set-apart spirit. This is how you are sealed until the day of redemption, until you are redeemed. Okay? If you have his set-apart spirit, this is why it says, do not grieve the set-apart spirit, because you have his Ruach HaKodesh in you, and you keep sinning and sinning and sinning, and you won't repent. You grieve the set-apart spirit till it leaves. That's your redemption. That's your seal that has just left you. The seal for you to be his bride. Do you understand that? So-called African Americans, because I took this a different route. You want to know who you are, read the whole book of Deuteronomy 28, and then pay very close attention to verse 68, where it talks about the 400 years of slavery that you would endure, that you would go on ships, just like it did in Genesis 15 and 13. It was prophesied to our forefather Abraham that we would go into slavery and serve in a land that we did not know for 400 years because of our disobedience. All of the curses. We have done other shows about who you are, but I wanted to take this a different route today. I didn't want to do the exact same thing. Same message, but a different way of presenting it, hoping that somebody can slap you straight. This is who you are. You are the people of the book. You are Jacob that has wrestled with men. You are the one who took hold to Esau's heel, your brother heel. You have been determined. We have been a nation of people, Prina, who have been struggling and contending and fighting, trying to claw our way through all of the adversity, through all of what they have systematically done to us as a nation of people. It is only by the grace of Yah that we're still standing today. We have been a nation of people that have been struggling, and we have prevailed over everything they have tried to do to us, from poisoning us to taking away our heritage, taking away our identity, taking away our language, taking away our culture, feeding our babies to alligators, hanging our men from trees, just everything. We have endured it all. We have been wrestling and contending and fighting. We have been enduring. We have been a persistent people. I'm done. Your thoughts on today's teaching?
I love the twist that you did on who we are, and just how you took it and to show how we are, like you said, we're prevailing, we're contending, and just knowing the name of Jacob, you know, how he was a deceiver and a planner, but then until he surrendered to Yah, and that's what we have to do. And I just love the message. It's like his name wasn't changed until he surrendered and he was broken, and we're being broken now, you know, with our slavery, and you know, and many of us have surrendered, and we still got some more to surrender, and we know that Yah has promised, you know, until we cry out to him and pray to him, because he's our only deliverer. And that's what people,
by my name, but we marching and we are crying out and we marching, but we don't understand the remedy. That's why I'm doing this show. Return, repent, and return back to the Torah. He said, "This shall not depart out of your mouth." We are crying out. We haven't surrendered.
Yeah.
We haven't surrendered.
Surrender. Mhm. So that was awesome in itself. And then I just love how you, because I love the marriage proposal, but just how you broke it down even further. Y'all bringing a proposal and then moving from Moses taking it to the people, and then from Israel accepting and being prepared for the marriage, cleaning us up, and then just why y'all chose us, to be a set apart people to him. Just knowing all of those things and all the conditions for the marriage and the house rules. Oh, I love that. It's just the whole lesson in itself was awesome. But what really stood out to me is when you talked about Jacob holding on to Esau's heel, and how he was contending to overcome evil.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Yes, and how his name went from a deceiver and a supplanter to being called Yah has prevailed. He will rule as Yah. That was just awesome. Yes, so I just love this lesson, and what really, really, really stood out was, if you want to see Yah's power in your life, you have to surrender to Yah. He's the only way. You can't go no other way. And like Yeshua said, you go in the back door, you are considered a thief and a robber. So, yes. So, this was just awesome. I love this twist. And still the same message. What really, another point that I wanted to make is when you said unfulfillment and discernment, not knowing who you are, that's what you carry. That's the and I remember, having those things like graduating from high school, getting a college degree, none of those things, fulfilled me. And not until I came into knowing the knowledge of who Yah is and who I am, and how special I am to Yah, and that I am the apple of his eye. And no matter what I see out here, no matter what oppression you go through, if you have Yah, like you said in Joshua 1:8, and you keeping his, not letting the book depart from your mouth, you will obtain the success as Yah says is success, where he is for you and not against you, and you have an assurance of an inheritance when this wicked Babylon is falling. You have salvation, if you endure. And so this was really an awesome lesson, and just knowing what contend, the meaning behind contend, that really stood out to me too. Persist, perseverance, especially hold on. When you talked about holding on to his heel, and how it relates to when he was in a womb, and how Jacob recounted, when he wrestled. Yeah. And so that, when he was blessing his children, this whole lesson was just awesome. I love the clips.
They were really good clips.
Yes. So I really pray that our brothers and sisters will really, look at this, listen to this video, and surrender to the Most High Yah, because you have no other alternative. And, like you said, either you're going to be broken down and surrender to Yah, or just continue in your wicked ways and die I guess a dreadful death, because once you die, this is me. I don't want to die once and then have to go wake up to the second death in the lake of fire, burning forever, while everybody else, is the ones that are saved is having eternal life. So it's time to get your life right now while you got a chance. And this is a powerful lesson to search your soul and know who Yah is and your purpose of why he selected us, and as far as being his chosen people. So I really love this lesson.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna bring in a caller. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, my sisters. How are you?
Shabbat shalom.
Well, you said so much, Prina, and definitely you, Shaitan. I just wanted to piggyback on so much that Prina had said, what you've said already. But, Shaitan, I just want you to know that people are listening because Yah has set you up for this time to teach righteousness because, Prina, you said it so well. We don't have any other choice. We're either going to get out of here through righteousness or we're going to perish, period. And so Yah has been waking us up. That's maybe his plan A. He's starting to wake us up. Plan B is righteousness, and you have been teaching on that for so long now, and we need to have that because it's no other way. So I want you to know I believe that the Ruach is working through you and people are listening, and me for one, because Yah has purposely in my life right now set me apart in him so that I could be still and listen to you because this has been a very good message for me to hear. So as our people get ready to celebrate, I just got a couple quick things to point out. As our people get ready to celebrate the 4th of July, please remember our black men that are getting killed on the streets. And on national TV, it's like a movie. You know, they're constantly tasing us, killing us, shooting us, whatever. No justice is being done. It's on national TV for everybody to see. This is, you know, we were told that Christianity was our salvation. I was just explaining to Prina, there's a book that the guy who named after the school that I worked for, Schoolcraft, he wrote a book in the 1850s called The Black Gauntlet. And it shows perfectly how we were made to believe that we needed their Christianity. We needed their socialization. We needed their education because we were nothing but cannibals. I mean, we weren't even human. You know, they didn't even, of course, mention who we really were, Israel, you know, and who our mighty one was. Nothing like that. They told a lie of what we were with bones in our nose and wild cannibals eating each other. It's just ridiculous. But so our people are caught up in that because the church I went to in my Christian days, I was told that we needed the white people. You know, I don't want to say that, but we needed the Christianity. We needed this in order to save our souls. So anyway, another thing that I hate is people of color. That's a new term that they're giving us now, people of color. Right, I can't stand that instead of people of different nationalities. So I love the two words that you used, the term cognitive dissonance. Our people are suffering from that so badly. You are so right, including me at one time, but not really cognitively, not like that, but you know, we all think that our degrees, our careers, our houses, even our families are righteousness in a way, you know, and we don't want to have to learn righteousness by those things being taken away from us because they're not righteousness. None of that is going to help us. So the last thing I wanted to mention, I did a little study on the phallic, you know, the penis that's all around. People just need to open up. Because I passed where I work at, and they have them on all the colleges. They have them in the Washington Monument, the churches, and it's nothing but a penis that represents the reproduction of the serpent seed. This is what these people worship over here. Open up your eyes, people. It's everywhere, and this is what they're celebrating this 4th of July. Because you had mentioned why has Yah chosen us? No, but why has Yah chosen us? It has to do, and the brother said it, the seed. The seed. It started in the garden, and I'm not going to get into that, but that's where it started. And you can see what seed some of these people are by just looking around you at all the symbols.
Yeah, just how they act. I mean, just how their behavior. I mean,
yeah.
And that's why those are our brethren who getting ready to celebrate 4th of July. Just know that during Independence Day, 4th of July, 1776, our people on July 4th that time, they were still picking cotton. And
it's not our freedom.
So and really they're celebrating their freedom from Yah, the law of Yah. That's what that whole Statue of Liberty was about, freedom from Yah's law. We were still picking cotton. We were not even free at that time.
No,
I don't know what the heck we get ready to barbecue some pork ribs and hot dogs and hamburgers for, and your ancestors were still picking cotton.
And the day we were free, Juneteenth, quote unquote, they killed the black man on that day. So we're not free over here, period.
No, we're not free until Yah has set us free. That's what people don't realize. We are not free until Yah has set us free. Yah is going to save us, not man. You know, we still run to our oppressors for everything, you know, but yet you say you free from them. You know, it's like a moron, you know.
We have to. I was telling you, Pre, the other day, and y'all just kind of just seem like it's just like keep getting in my spirit with all these lessons that he's been giving to me that we need to start preparing for the tribulation. We need to start preparing to separate from Babylon and all of everything in this system that we have loved. It's time to separate, and you know, and like Big said, that cognitive dissonance. You uncomfortable. They uncomfortable with changing or altering their beliefs or their attitude because this is what they have always known. This is what they have been taught since the beginning. But what our forefathers and what our parents and our parents' parents taught, their truths and their realities are not the truths and reality that Yah has given to his end time children. Those are not. They're no longer our truth. That's not my truth anymore. Christmas is not my truth. Easter is not my truth. That's not my truth. Christianity is no longer my truth. That was the truth of my forefathers, but they didn't know no better. They didn't know. Our people no longer knew who our God was. I searched for him when he called me out of the Christian church, and now I do know him, and I vowed I was never going to return back, so that's why we do what we do. But our people, it's time for our people to wake up. Seriously, it's time for our people to wake up. Just like the end of that movie that where he said, "Wake up." That scene always brings me to tears at the end every time I hear it because I just feel for my people. Like you want them to get it, but unfortunately, majority of people they won't get it. They're gonna reject it. They're not gonna want y'all.
You know what stood out was when you did, you know, because many are called and few are chosen. Really stood out to me, like when you broke it down, like chosen. You know, I mean,
invited and selected.
Yes, invited. You invited. However, you may not be selected in how you related to going on a job interview, you know, and so that really stood out, you know.
Because they're not preparing. They're not preparing for it. You've been selected to come there. You've been invited to interview, but you didn't prepare for the interview. You knew nothing about the company. You know nothing about the mission, the vision. You don't know nothing. So when they ask you questions, you don't know anything. You got to only the person who's really prepared gets the job.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
And those that pass the test, they go to the next step.
Sometimes they do give you a test on the job. You're right, Vicki.
Right. You know, now it's time to obey. Stop being wild, stiff-necked, disobedient, and come back to the covenant. Now it's time for you to walk. Believe what you say you believe. You know, walk it out.
We talked last night. Belief is action. So it's no longer saying I believe, but then you live a life contrary to his word. You're not a believer. And the reality is majority of you are really not believers because you're not living this.
Right.
Most of you are hypocrites. And a lot of people are going to get upset when they hear this, but it's the truth. Going to church every Sunday or even going to church and keeping the Sabbath, even assembling with Israelites, it doesn't matter. If you claim you're walking in the truth, yet you living contrary to the word. You got your head wrapped up. You got your what you call Hebrew garment on. You got your beard and tassels, all that. Y'all said he does not judge according to the outward appearance. He said he looks at the heart. He's not going to care about all of the Israelite garments And he's not going to care how long your beard is or how long your tassel is dragging across or how tight your head wrap is. He's not going to care if you're not living this out. You have to actually do it. You have to take heed to do it and to keep his commandments. Our Israel, that's all our people care about, is just what we look like. We want the byproducts of, I can go get me 2, 3, 4 wives. You filled with lust. That's it. You are interested in what you think you can get from the inheritance. You're not interested. Just like the guy said in the clip when he said he's fed up. We're wicked.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Israel is wicked. Period.
Yeah,
but we can continue this conversation after. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much. Prina, you can go ahead and lead us out in prayer.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I was talking, so I wasn't even prepared.
Yeah, so it's getting real, and if you guys are not ready, so far, African American, this is the reason why I'm talking to you, because you're the only nation of people that don't know who you are. Everyone else, nobody came and told the Chinese or any other nation of people who they are. They know who they are. Their parents are able to pass on their tradition, their culture, their language. Many of them, when you go into their establishments, they still speak in their native tongue language. We don't have a clue to who we are at all, and it's very disheartening. It's getting harder and harder for me to keep my mouth closed about it.
Yes, that is.
Okay, you ready? Are you ready, Prina? Well, I'm going to go ahead and may Yah bless and keep thee. May he make his face shine upon thee and be gracious to thee. May Yah lift up his countenance upon thee and give you peace. In Yeshua's name, we pray that you will enjoy the rest of your Sabbath. And again, we won't be having an audio broadcast teaching like this. We will have our children's series that will play at 2 p.m. on next Sabbath. And so with that being said, we pray that when this is recorded, that you do share this message. And so with that being said, Shabbat Shalom.